Welcome into the live stream here for Black Monday.
Part one
of Black Monday. There will be a part 2.
Maybe a 3 and 4. This may be a damn Rocky episode before we get it done with.
We'll just skip. We'll skip Black Monday 5 and go straight to Black Monday Creed.
Yeah. Well, speaking of. Agents on the phone.
Not an agent.
Not an agent. All right. Yeah, we could definitely do that.
Probably somebody that knows a little something right there.
I'm scared to ask.
On 2 fronts.
We're not starting. We got to start the audio file before we get all
right.
that.
We'll get let everybody get in. Appreciate everybody joining us. Yeah, Texas A&M's open.
Yeah, I heard.
I'm ready. Gig 'em.
I heard.
ULM might be open soon. Hell, I applied for it last time, and they didn't even consider me. I mean, I could go over in the Sun Belt.
Are they going to go over?
Yeah. They beat Army and Lamar.
That's right. They had App State beat, and App State walked it off on a field goal. They played a couple games like tight, and then didn't they beat? I thought they beat somebody.
No, beat Army, and then they beat Lamar.
You talking about my Army guys?
That's them, the Black Knights.
You know who sent this shirt to me?
Yeah, Coach Nuke.
Coach Nuke. I wear it. It's one of my favorite shirts. I like Nike T-shirts. It's one of my favorites. Let's go, baby.
All right,
let's crank her up.
Let's do it. I'll throw one at you in a minute. I'm curious. All right, here we go. Welcome into episode 130 of McCready and Siskey, powered by Rain Total Body Fuel. I'm Neal McCready.
Perfect crack on a Black Monday part 1.
That is Tyler Siskey. We're here on this Black Monday, November the 13th, little after 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. News breaking as the day goes on. Yesterday, Texas A&M fires one Jimbo Fisher. Jimbo, my man.
Good people, man.
Good for you. Jimbo, I'm so happy. Jimbo, we're going to talk about Jimbo's money in a minute. Jimbo, hey, today is Jimbo Fisher's day.
It really is.
Here's to you.
I've never wanted to be Jimbo Fisher.
Never so bad in my life.
More than today.
I mean, whew.
I wouldn't want to be one of the recruiting staffers that doesn't have the same contract, but from a head coaching perspective, hey, this reign's for you, boss.
My goodness.
This reign is for you.
Jimbo opened the good stuff today, I promise you.
Oh, dude.
Can you imagine?
I wish.
Just sitting back saying, you know what? I think I will have another.
It's not life's not all that bad.
Oh, man.
We'll talk about it, but shout out to my guy Ross Bjork for taking care of all the assistants right before they got fired too. Hey, y'all, some of these people, like Ross Bjork, look, it goes Jesus, my wife, my kids, my parents, and then right below my parents is Ross Bjork.
Yeah.
Dude, he is so high on my list.
I know.
Like, y'all can talk all the shit y'all want to talk about Ross Bjork. I fucking love me some Ross Bjork.
Not even 2 minutes.
Well, it's going to be one of those episodes today, boss. I love him.
Mississippi State fires Zach Arnett this morning. We'll talk about that. Still waiting on, and I think it might be a wait. We'll talk about the deal at Arkansas because I've got a little intel that I'm not positive is right. I'll couch it as rumor.
Okay.
We'll talk about all that. But first, I want to tell you that I
think you and I pieced together some truth, though.
On another deal.
No, on that one, too.
On that deal? Well, because we didn't talk to the same person.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, and to hear similar things. Interesting. We're brought to you by Rain Total Body Fuel. 300 milligrams of natural caffeine, BCAAs, electrolytes, zero sugar. It's got what you need to push the limits and achieve your goals. Check them out on Instagram at Rain Body Fuel to learn more.
And Neal, the Cooper Chevrolet chat was already bumping before I even logged in today. I want to remind everybody that even though today is Black Monday,
yep,
it's Black Friday every day in November at Cooper Chevrolet in Anniston.
How about that?
Cooper Chevrolet has just received a huge truckload of brand new Chevy Tahoes and Silverado pickups in every trim. With over 200 new Chevys, Buicks, and quality pre-owned, many with an extended warranty backed by Car Bravo, Cooper is sure to have the right vehicle at the right price. Check out East Alabama's best selection today at cooperchevrolet.com and tell them that McCready and Siskey sent you.
All of our content at MPW is brought to you by Twisted Tea. Are you ready to elevate your college football game day experience? If you are, check out Twisted Tea. It's your go-to game day beverage for college football fans. There's no need to settle for the usual. Twisted Tea turns up any occasion, especially when you're cheering for your favorite team, whether you're tailgating in the stadium parking lot, watching at a bar, or hosting friends at home. Twisted Tea is there to elevate game day experience. It's unlike any hard beverage you've had before. It's made with real brewed tea. It packs a flavorful punch, 5% alcohol, no carbonation. It goes down smooth on every game day occasion. It perfectly complements your love for college football and your passion for creating unforgettable moments. So let's toast to unforgettable game day experiences with Twisted Tea. It's the drink that fuels fun and celebrates your love for college football. Keep it twisted. Speaking of twisted, where do you want to start?
Well, I got a super chat from my man Austin Blanson. Appreciate you, Austin. Says, happy birthday, Tyler. Thanks for the entertainment. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
Is today your birthday?
It is.
I did not know that. Happy birthday.
Yeah. Well, you're not the only one that didn't know.
Aaron forgot.
How about this shit? How about not one person in my house told me happy birthday today?
Oh.
Not the wife, not the 3 kids.
Now, are you like me? You're not really a birthday person?
I don't care.
Okay.
But since they forgot, I will take advantage of the situation. But yeah, and then my wife remembered about 9:00 this morning, and she
was like, "Oh no!"
Oh yeah, she started calling me. I was in a meeting, so I didn't answer. And then she hit me with the, "Why is your phone on busy signal?" Come on,
come on, Aaron,
own
it, Aaron,
come on, come on.
Own it.
Come on. And then she responded with a, hey, I was trying to call you to see if you wanted to go to get lunch for your birthday today. I was like, nah,
No, I don't buy it.
No, but she made up for it. So we'll get, but the kids still hadn't texted me. So that's her ass. So the kids get no excuse. We'll do a little punishment for them, but no, I'm just messing. It doesn't bother me at all. My mom, I had a niece text me.
Yep.
My niece Hagen goes to Clemson. She texts me. My mom and dad called. My in-laws called. Everybody called, but the people that lived in my house.
How about that?
That's messed up.
That is. That hurts.
And Uncle Jerry, best uncle of all time. He texts me. He texted like at 5:00 this morning.
I'm just keep waiting to hear from Uncle Jimbo. I'm hoping to find out we're related somehow.
I'm just trying to get on his Christmas list. I'm not the birthday list. I want to get on the Christmas list. I played for Jimbo.
Yeah, I know. My first year on the Auburn beat,
yeah,
he was there.
That.
Yeah.
Love me some Jimbo. So congratulations to him.
Absolutely.
All right, let's start this bad boy off with let's just start at Mississippi State. We'll go in chronological order here. Backwards, I guess. So Mississippi State fires Zach Arnett. I've said what I've said in the past. Somebody asked me about it the other day. I said, I've said what I've said. I'll wait till something happens, and I'll be daggone. They didn't do it today. Let's talk about why it was let go. I think I don't agree with it. I'll say that. I think we're on a slippery slope in this world. Whether you agree with his coaching, whatever it is, the guy coached 10 games.
Mm-hmm.
He did not have a recruiting class. When he got there, they had no money in NIL, or relatively no money in NIL. He built it. This may be some breaking news. I know they got about $3.5 million in their war chest right now. Okay. But it came from basically nothing to $3.5 million, and you don't even give a guy a chance to build and all that stuff. So like the guy, dislike the guy, whatever it is, I don't agree with that. I don't think you can judge somebody as a college football coach under those circumstances. So, but it is what it is. Why were they able to do it? I think because the buyout's workable. He had a $4.5 million buyout.
Yep. With an offset
over 3 years. So they're going to pay him 1.5, 1.5, 1.5. But if he goes and gets another job, which if he goes and gets a coordinator job, which he can pick up the phone and get one tomorrow,
yep,
he would probably make more than 1.5 anyway. So technically they wouldn't owe him anything.
Yeah.
I think he's going to have to make the decision from a Zach Arnett's perspective. Does he want to be a head coach, or does he want to be a coordinator? If he wants to be a coordinator, he can go make 2.25 tomorrow. I mean, He will be able to pick his spot.
It is my understanding he could have the LSU defensive coordinator job right now.
He would definitely be one of the strong candidates, if not the candidate.
I saw where San Diego State's coach, I should know this as many times as I bet on them.
Brady Hoke
has announced he is retiring.
And then he will, if he wants that job, I think he can get that job.
He came to Mississippi State from San Diego State.
That's correct.
And he's well thought of there.
And then when he was there, they were rolling. They were really good. That's when they were winning, 11, 12 games a year.
If you were giving life advice to Zach Arnett, and let's just say he can be the defensive coordinator. Let's use LSU as an example, and we'll call it generic LSU for the sake of not getting bogged down.
A big school.
Yeah, not getting bogged down in details. You can be the defensive coordinator at generic LSU, or you can be the head coach at San Diego State. What are you advising him to do?
I don't think his head coaching resume has been affected by this, in my opinion. I think anybody that's hiring people understand the situation. My advice for him at his age, I would probably go be the defense coordinator because of the money that you're going to be able to make is probably more. So it's not a financial reason to take a head coaching job, and you give it some time before you get your next job to let all this portal NIL stuff settle down. I think in the environment, we're in such a wild environment to be going to taking. I mean, he's going to get another chance, no doubt. He'll get another shot. But do you want that other shot to be a lower level down? I think he can go to generic LSU or wherever, be a coordinator, and then get a higher elevated job than San Diego State. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I would probably do that at his age. I just hate that it's come to that for him.
If you're State, where do you go from here?
All right, I got a little Tyler's list. I see everybody else puts list out, and they're just making shit up. They don't know. They're just fire names off of the top of a list without doing a whole lot of thinking about it.
Well, usually right away, that's what you do. You just say, hey, now most people don't put caveats on it. We always used to put the truth on it, which is, look, this is just a list of names. It doesn't mean anything yet, because it's really hard to flesh anything out in the first 24 minutes. You need 24 hours.
Yeah. My first call, and it would be a long phone call because he'd have to tell me no a lot, is Dan Mullen.
Okay. Former State coach.
Because, and here's why. One, because he knows how to recruit in a state. But it's really not about as much recruiting as it is NIL. If there's anybody that can galvanize the fan base to get money back involved, he knows all the money people.
Yeah.
He knows everybody that's ever given $1 to that university.
Yeah.
He can go collect it.
Yeah.
And we can talk about it till we're blue in the face. You can go hire Coach A, Coach B, Coach C, Coach D, whatever. Coach O, whatever. If you don't have NIL, it doesn't matter who's coaching that team. And I made this point to Brennan and I were talking a little while ago. We were talking about Willie Fritz, right? People go, oh, well, State's a developmental job. Okay, this is the thing that people got to be very careful of. And this is what scares me about people hiring coaches and jobs that don't know anything about football. Is State a development job? You would like to say yes. Okay, absolutely, right?
Well, if they're going to win, they have to be.
But hear me out on this. Once you develop them, you have to pay them because they're going to go somewhere else. So the problem is you got to have the money to keep them.
You have to follow. There's a couple models that they can follow. And again, I don't know all the details on these programs, but I think they have to follow the NC State model, the Kansas State model, the Iowa State model. I think they've got to look at some programs that have some resources, but are relative to the other teams in their league lower. Now, here's the problem. Okay, here's the problem. This is coming from someone who's kind of close to State. State's problem is twofold. Two big problems. They got to get over. Okay. Problem one is that I firmly believe they would not have made this decision if Ole Miss were 5-5 today. I firmly believe it. They are reacting to, they are the girl that her friends get married, and she goes, by God, I got to get married too. Jenny's getting married, Janie's getting married, and Sally's getting married. I got to get married. And so she marries the first guy that asks her out even though she really ain't crazy about him. He's not a really good fit. And then a year later, they're like, this was stupid. That's literally where State is. Now, problem 2. Once you go the development route and you hire a good coach,
gotta stay committed.
It's going to take a minute. It's going to take a minute. It's going to take a while. There's going to be some growing pains. It's going to hurt. A lot of people are going to tell you this didn't work. It's a bust. It's a bust. You got to be dedicated. Now, I don't know that they're there yet. Clutch Cam, thanks for the super chat. He says, Deion to State, dear God. Listen, here's the deal. Deion Sanders, when he was not going to take the Ole Miss job last year if Lane Kiffin had left. Deion's does not want to coach in the state of Mississippi, period. I don't know how many times we have to say it. It's just true. All right, but that's the State problem. And so your list is Dan Mullen.
I've amended it a little bit, okay?
Okay.
All right.
You got Willie Fritz.
Yeah. I'm going to amend it.
All right.
This was yesterday. My last 2 I have not amended. I would say these would be the 5 I would talk to. Dan Mullen, Jeff Lebby.
Okay.
All right. And I say this because of 2 reasons. One is the AD came from Arkansas, previous relationship. And Lebby wants to be a head coach. And he's got some hurdles in his way.
He does.
To become a head coach.
He does.
Well, if the guy knows you, it helps make that there's an easier transition there.
Yep.
So it makes more sense. Now, the opposite issue, going back to what you just said, I think, and look.
You said Arkansas. You meant Oklahoma, in case anybody's confused.
What'd I say?
You said Arkansas.
I apologize.
Yeah, no, I was fixing it for you.
Oklahoma. They have connections in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
My CTE kicking in. I apologize. I haven't started drinking yet either. But they know each other. They will be able to get over some of those hurdles because they know each other. Now, the negative, what you just said, and I think it will be a negative. I think some of the people will not want that to occur just because, and I think this is stupid for the record, but just because he was the offensive coordinator at Ole Miss for 1 year.
Yeah.
I think that's stupid.
2 years.
Was it 2?
2 years. Was it? Yeah, 2 years. 2020 and 2021.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. But some people will hold that against him. And it being recent, I think that's stupid. I think he will be, and that would be somebody that knows how to recruit with his time at Baylor, building something in a similar situation there.
Yeah.
Tom Herman, I think, desires to get back to this level.
Okay. At FAU now, doing a good job.
At FAU, doing a good job.
Yep.
He desires to get back to this level, to the big time level. He's a good football coach, and I think he would take it.
Okay.
The last 2, and these are my 5 calls, I guess. My last 2, our good friend. I've said this from the jump. I brought this up in the regular season, not in Mississippi State, but just in this reason. Barry Odom at UNLV is a really good football coach.
He is.
He's done it at Missouri with less recruiting, the whole deal.
Mm-hmm.
He's out in UNLV. There are a bunch of people tried to win at UNLV.
He's doing it.
Mm-hmm. I really like him. I think it would be a fit in this league and a fit for Mississippi State. And the last one is a good friend of the show, Richard Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Knows how to win. He's done it at West Virginia. He's done it at Arizona. He's doing it at Jackson State. They won when he was at Monroe. Everywhere he's been, he's won. People around here shit on him because of the year that we went through here.
Runs a unique offense that you might be able to recruit to down here.
And it kind of fits his personality with he likes tough sons of bitches.
Yeah.
And you can go get that type of mentality. It would fit with that fan base. But those would be the 5 that I would talk to that fit that. I had Willie Fritz on here, but the whole Willie Fritz, the more I thought about the Willie Fritz thing, it's a development thing. Or are we going to give him time? I mean, you haven't demonstrated that.
Yeah.
And the last one I had on here was I think we'll try to get involved is Joe Judge.
Okay.
1, because of last time, but 2, he's at New England now. There are going to be some changing there. So those were the ones I had down there.
All right, let's dive into A&M.
Right.
It happened. I think we all saw it coming. This was sort of telegraphed for a minute. The word at SEC Media Days was that he probably had to go 9-3. When it became obvious they weren't going 9-3, things got tenuous.
Can I tell something now that I couldn't tell before?
Yeah, sure.
I had gotten word. I didn't believe it at first. I believe it. I believed it after yesterday. That after they lost to Tennessee, they had South Carolina coming up. I may have mentioned something to you about this off the air. They had South Carolina coming up, and then they had Ole Miss, and he came back from a meeting and basically told everybody, we got to get ready for Ole Miss. And they were like, what? We have to get ready for Ole Miss. And they put all their eggs in that basket. I think he was told he had to win that game. Didn't, obviously. And his fate was done Thursday before he knew the fate on Thursday before Saturday ever happened. So makes sense now. I didn't believe it at the time. I should have, but I didn't. Thought it was a little overzealous, but was told that after the Tennessee game that he came back and they had to get ready for Ole Miss. I'm like, we got South Carolina this week. We have to get ready for Ole Miss. They had to win that game. They didn't. So that
makes sense. And then Lane ratcheted it up that week with all the stuff and made it even more personal, and they couldn't get it done. And truth is, if they didn't block a field goal, that was a blowout loss probably. So it was over. Right. I felt like that afternoon I thought he'd finish the season, but I thought they'd move on. So they moved on, which leads us to next. First of all, kudos again, Jimbo. Today's your day.
Here's the rain for you. I should have brought Bob told me today I should have been Red Dragon. No, I should have been Red Dragon today, but the rain for you today, Jimbo.
He gets $19 million it's due on January the 11th, 2024. That's this coming January the 11th. They've got 60 days to pay him $19 million, and then he will receive $7 million a year through 2031.
Let's go.
Atta baby. Hey.
Let's go. Oh, man.
Oh, Jimbo. Living the dream. Someone said, hey, Chase was in here. I'm going to make fun of you, Chase. I love you. He goes, he's going to want to coach again. He can't coach again. I'm like, oh, my God, who cares? Well, they're different than us. I said, no. He's in his 50s. He's going to walk out of this with $76.8 million. He's already a wealthy man.
Let's go.
You bury the whistle. You might do a little TV, have a little fun here. and there,
if you want to.
If you just want to. And if
you're bored.
There's no offset language.
None.
He could go get a gig at Starbucks and it doesn't even offset from the $76.8 million.
Yeah.
70. Like Jimbo, my man. Thumbs up.
Look, man.
Kick him.
Yeah, man. Good for him.
Oh, yeah. No more to the goofy cheerleaders.
Didn't have to listen to anybody shit about his play calling or if he's not calling plays.
That phone rang on Thursday and they told him what was going on and he said, great. Awesome.
Yeah. Like, when they said Coach O said, what door or whatever.
Tell me what door. How big you want me to smile?
And that was for $19 million.
I'm $77 million.
I mean,
winning the lottery, dude.
Like, dude, contrary to popular belief, Ross Bjork may be way up on Jimbo's list too.
Oh, we gotta love him. Gotta love him.
I mean,
all right. So where does A&M go?
All right,
because this is what people are here for. This is what people are here for. This is where our show has a chance to get interesting.
Okay. Oh, that's gonna be up to you.
Because we're 20 some odd minutes in, and so far it's a good show. But we got a chance to make this a really good show. I'll let you think about it first. Let me tell you, we might end up needing this. Jimbo doesn't. Jimbo will not need this. Okay. Other people might. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Jimbo does not need BetterHelp. He's good. But do you look forward to the holidays? Jimbo does. Maybe you struggle with seasonal blues. The holidays can be stressful. They can conjure up some sadness. In other words, this time of year can be a lot, and it's natural to feel some sadness or anxiety about it. But adding something new and positive to your life can counteract some of those feelings. Therapy can be a bright spot amid all of the stress and change, something to look forward to make you feel grounded, and to give you the tools to manage everything going on. I've benefited from therapy. It was good for me to talk through some feelings with the professional, walk away with a new perspective. It's helpful for learning positive coping skills, how to set boundaries, empowers you to be the best version of yourself. It isn't just for those who've experienced major trauma. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online. It's designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Find your bright spot this season with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/MPW today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp.com/MPW. Our next partner is Athletic Greens. I drink AG1 by Athletic Greens literally every day. I gave AG1 a try because I wanted better gut health, sustained energy, immune system support, and I just hate taking pills. I drink AG1 every morning. I love knowing I'm doing something good for my body, giving my body the nutrition it craves, and covering my nutritional basis. Covering my nutritional basis for the day literally couldn't be easier, which is why I trust Athletic Greens. I just mix 1 small scoop of AG1 with water and drink it first thing each morning. Done. I also like that it costs less than $3 a day. It's pretty good if you ask me. It's a really effective daily habit with the highest quality sourced ingredients. It's a win-win. If a comprehensive solution is what you need for your supplement routine, then Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Go to athleticgreens.com/MPW. That's athleticgreens.com/MPW. Check it out.
All right, real quick before we get to this, the same kind of along the same line. Snoop said in the Cooper Chevrolet chat, said, serious question, as competitive as these coaches are, when you get $70+ million for losing, do coaches consider their time a failure or a success? It's a very good question. Twofold, right? Like nobody wants to be fired from their job, especially in coaching, because it's something you've done for your whole life. I went through it. I've been through it twice. At the same time, you get very worn out on dealing with the same problems every day. And sometimes change is needed on both sides. But there comes a point of negative returns. And in my situation, one time that when we got fired, I was going to have to find a way out anyway. I couldn't deal with it. And another time I would have liked one more year, because I think things were going in the right direction, regardless of what the win and loss rate. I know it's a scoreboard business. I understand that, but I felt like things were going in the right direction, comparative to other jobs that I've had. And I would like one more year to see if it was going to work or not. I wasn't ready to call it quits, if that makes sense. I wasn't ready for a mutual departure. One time I was for sure, because it was a little bit more of the administration than it was coaching. And then the other time it was kind of both on both ways. So good question, Snoop. All right, Texas A&M.
What's next?
I think this opening is going to end up being the root of the biggest coaching carousel.
I do too.
Movement in a long time.
I think it has a real chance to really spin the wheel.
I mean, big time.
Big time spin the wheel.
Big time spin the wheel. Here's who I have, okay? My very first call, without question, is Dan Lanning.
Okay.
I make that phone call. Here's what you have to have. Here's what has to change, okay? You have a program that has all the resources in the world, and they want to win like that. I think this was an emotional decision more than it was a business decision, but whatever, the decision's been made. But you have to have what's caused them to not win games. It's offensive production, okay? And so Dan Lanning's not an offensive coach, but that's okay here.
Because Oregon scoring points.
Because you got to know how to hire the people that fit what you want to do on defense. That's how you win games, right? So he's done a great job of scoring points and hiring the right people and those things, right? Explosive. He believes in that kind of offense.
Yeah.
And so I think that's why he fits there. So that's really my first call. He is going to have to tell me no more times than he can shake a stick at.
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think he's going to say no.
I don't either.
I actually believe, as of this morning, I spent no time on this yesterday. I'll be honest. Saturday night when we finished, I had hit the wall, man. That was a long week. And I spent yesterday just kind of, I couldn't do it. I was like, like people like, Lane's name's popping up. And I'm like, I'll do it. I'll wait till Monday. I needed a break. Lane's name is at A&M. I can tell you this. Lane Kiffin is not going to be the next head coach at Texas A&M. I can tell you that emphatically. He's not.
Is this part where I agree with you or disagree with
It's
you?
up to you.
I agree with you.
Okay. I never tell you have to agree with me or you have to disagree with me. Do whatever you want.
You tell me before every show.
Do not. Lane Kiffin will not be the next head coach at Texas A&M.
I agree.
I do think Dan Lanning's their guy, and I don't think it's done. But if you made me bet based on what I've heard today, I would bet that Dan Lanning is leaning towards taking it.
All right, so we got in trouble a little bit for this last time, but let's say it again. What is in Vegas? What is your money line odds that Dan Lanning is the head coach at Texas A&M?
It would be plus something, but it'd be like plus 135.
I agree. I'm going like plus 150 maybe.
Okay.
But he's the leader in the clubhouse.
Yes.
And I think by double.
Okay, well, we'll put odds on the next guy. So you've got Urban Meyer here.
All right, Urban Meyer, I don't have them in order, by the way.
Yeah, I would put Urban Meyer at plus 1,000.
At least.
Yes.
Here's the deal. Is you just fired Jimbo Fisher. You just made $100 million decision. Okay? $100 million decision.
Yeah.
You don't make $100 million decision and go, and I love him. I think he's a fantastic football coach.
Sure.
But you don't go make $100 million decision to get rid of this guy and go get Elko.
No, agreed.
Okay.
100%. 100%.
And I think he's a fantastic football coach.
But it's the way it is.
I'm just saying like this.
It's why someone brought up Jeff Traylor. And Jeff Traylor's been on our show, and I like Jeff. I think he's terrific. But I don't know that you can go, okay, hey, we're gonna drop $100 million and then hire Jeff Traylor. People are gonna go, that's it? No, I think they know. I know they know. Here's what I know. I know that they know they have to make a splash.
Yes.
Now, you can't make me take a job. You can try really hard, but you can't make me. And so there's a chance that they come up snake eyes and look like idiots because they get turned down and someone uses it to renegotiate and whatever. That happens all the time, and it will somewhere happen in this cycle. And we're going to talk about a place in a minute where it might have already happened. But that's the deal. So yeah. I agree with you on Urban, which leads me to Dabo Swinney, which is the interesting name on this list.
I think he's third, literally in my head.
Okay.
He would be third.
I would put the odds on him at about plus 500. It could happen.
And here's why. I think if the right thing came along, he would leave Clemson.
No, Hunter, we're not listing them in order right now. I'm listing them in the order that Tyler has just names listed.
I typed shit out. I didn't do like my order of favorites. I think I'll tell you Dabo would be my third. I'll tell you my second in a minute.
All right, who's your second?
Mike Norvell.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
Mike Norvell, I'd put him at plus 375.
I might even go higher than that. I might
like
go
lower or higher.
Plus 300.
Okay, yeah. But he would be my second choice.
And I think he's open to the idea
because of resources.
Yeah,
and
ACC.
he's got good resources, but look, let's don't get this confused. There is one person on this planet that's got these kind of resources, and that's Sark.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I think Mike Norvell and they have shown, one, he is phenomenal high school recruiter, but he's also phenomenal in the portal as well. He's shown that he can do both.
No, he's very good.
I like Mike Norvell. I think he's unbelievable.
Very good.
But I think he would be my second call. My third call would be Dabo Swinney. And here's why. Dabo kind of fits. He would be a good cultural fit there, and you can make all the jokes that you want to make a joke. Dabo's a good dude. But he does know how to recruit. He can recruit in high school. They have the base and all that stuff. He would he would win there, just like he won at Clemson, which he would be winning with Clemson now if he had an elite quarterback. Because he's done it. They got every other position.
Yeah.
But I like Dabo. I think he would be my third call, and then my last call, because you have to have offense. But this would be hard for me. But Lincoln Riley. It would be hard for me.
Got to have some defensive guys with him, or else it just doesn't work.
Agree.
Yeah.
They got to have offense. This place needs offense.
They do. They need to score. All right.
Because they haven't had a problem getting defensive talent.
Let's talk about what happens if Lanning takes the job.
I'll let you start that one.
All right. Oregon comes open.
Yep.
And here's the thing about Oregon. It's interesting. If you talk to people in the coaching fraternity, and I have, they have really mixed views on Oregon. On one hand, they love it. They love it. Money, Phil Knight, Nike, facilities. It's all there. It's all there. And if you could somehow pick up Oregon and put it in a different part of the country, it's the best job. It's one of the 5 best jobs in the country.
You know what they have in the facilities that's really cool, by the way? Did you know, like in the locker rooms, they have their lights. They're so they're in the locker room before the game. Their lights, the dimness is the same as it is outside, bright or not, so the players' eyes don't have to adjust when they go outside.
That's cool.
That's pretty cool.
I need that in my house.
That's pretty cool. Anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I just thought that was cool.
But it's not. It's in the Pacific Northwest. It's a long way from anywhere. And that's been a difficult thing at times. They're going to the Big Ten. There are some people in the coaching business that are like, kind of wonder what that's going to look like in the Big Ten. The travel's going to change. Although from Oregon to Arizona is a hell of a long flight.
Yeah, they're all long.
So, but you got to go across the country some. You're going to have to go to Rutgers. You're going to have to go to Penn State. You're going to have to go to Indiana and Purdue, and you're going to have all these new things. Of course, those people have to come play you. It does even out. Rutgers has to come all the way to Eugene to play. So, but from a football standpoint, that's probably a little overstated. But there are people that are like, I want to see what it looks like. That said, they walk into a premier power league, one of the 2 power leagues in the country next year. Leagues that are going to get at least 4 bids to the 12-team tournament. And they walk in as unquestionably one of the 5 to 6 powers in that league. You walk in at Oregon as a real playoff contender day one.
Yeah.
So the list of coaches who will listen, and I'm putting that word in italics, bolded, underlined, is pretty extensive. Who would listen to Oregon quietly? It's the one. I'll say this: doing what I do for a living, that's the one job that I'm watching. It's the. I'm not saying Lane Kiffin would leave Ole Miss for Oregon. Not saying that. I am saying I think he'd listen.
I agree.
I think he would listen. It's a top 5 job in a premier league. I don't know that he can say that about Ole Miss. They're trying to be there, and they're working to get there. But when I talk about jobs, I mean resources, the whole deal. You've got Texas A&M in no particular order, Georgia, Alabama, LSU, Tennessee, that are the best jobs in your league. From a resource, if you've got it going.
Florida probably too, right?
I put Florida's there, but I think those are ahead of Florida. But you could lump Florida in there, and I'm not going to fight you on it.
I'm talking about ones that they had to compete with.
Yeah. But that's the deal. So, but he would. Would you
put Ole Miss top 10 or 15 nationally when it comes to NIL?
I have no idea.
I got to be close to top 10, huh?
They're probably close. Yeah, they're probably close. But I don't know that.
I was just asking.
I just don't know how that works. But listen, Lane wouldn't be the only coach that I think would listen. I think a lot of coaches would listen. And it's why I think, and I think you think this, if Dan Lanning takes the Texas A&M job, he's the one guy that can really make this thing just go, boom, here we go.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. But
Urban Meyer doesn't spin the carousel because he's not employed.
You could even say the same thing with Clemson, but I think Clemson would go. I don't think they would. I know that wouldn't spin the wheel as much as Dan Lanning takes.
Yeah, because I don't know that. Like, for example, there's a lot of coaches that I think would listen to Oregon that wouldn't listen to Clemson because Clemson's future is so nebulous right now. Like, what are we? What is the ACC going to look like in a Power 2 world?
A lot of questions.
Is Clemson going to be in the Big Ten in 5 years? Is it going to be in the SEC in 5 years? What's it going to be? There's a lot of questions. least with Oregon, you have answers to those questions. You don't necessarily know what it's going to look like, but you do know that you're going to have Phil Knight, you're going to have a ton of money, you're going to have Big Ten money, and you're going to be in the Big Ten.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's going to
those are things you know.
And you know what? Who we're not talking about here in this whole deal? We're talking about the coaching carousel. Well, Michigan State's open right now.
It is,
and I'm willing to bet you anything you want to bet. If you want to bet at lunch on it, I bet you Michigan comes open.
Yeah, I think Michigan will come open. And now Michigan's going to be tempted to do something that's hire a Michigan man kind of thing.
Well, they're who's left?
I don't know. and then
but you know what I'm saying? Like there's fixing to be some. It's fixing to get crazy.
And then Michigan State's an interesting gig. There's people that think Iowa's coming open.
I think it is, right? My understanding it is.
I've heard that it probably is.
That could spin it again.
Iowa's a real good job. Now it's not an Oregon, but it's a good job.
I'll just put it like this. Last week when we were talking about group of 5 coaches moving up and moving on, there's a reason why I said what I said. I think
I'll fill in those gaps for the people that don't want to. I would assume, you have not told me this, God's honest truth. I would assume that you're saying that you think that if Iowa opens, that Mark Stoops is indeed a big-time candidate at Iowa and that John Summerall would be the lead candidate at Kentucky.
I think there's going to be better opportunities for the group of 5 people than that job.
Yeah. I think the wheel's about to spin. That's why we said this will be the first Black Monday. It won't be the last.
It won't be it won't even be close. This one's going to be nuts because usually you have one job that sets it off. You know, like last year it was like LSU set it off, and then USC obviously. USC and LSU set it off.
Yeah.
Okay. It's going to be now. You're probably going to add Texas A&M to Oregon and Michigan State. There's going to be a lot, and it depends on who goes where. It's just going to get set off to where there's going to be a lot of movement, and to the point to where you're talking about elite programs. Okay. I understand they just fired the guy. There's this thing in coaching, right? It's like if the bed's really comfortable, somebody's usually already sleeping in it. That's usually the saying, right?
Okay.
Well, Texas A&M's bed's pretty damn comfortable to be firing a coach. That's about as comfortable of replacing a fired coach as you can wish for.
Yeah.
All right. Now, what really sucks though is the portal. How many of these kids are going to bolt before they see who the new head coach is?
But you can get out of the portal. You can jump in and jump out.
They got to get one in here, which is the last thing I had down is the timing with this incoming head coach.
Well, it's one of the reasons why I think this is the new change. This is a challenge for ADs now. In the past, ADs would be like, I'm going to wait and see what happens. Not anymore. You got to be proactive. Got to be ready to go. It's why there are some people out there. I'm going to go here. There are some people out there that are like, okay, well, Jimbo's gone. Zach Arnett's gone. How in the world is Sam Pittman not gone? They get mauled by Auburn on Saturday in Fayetteville. They're on their way to 4-8, maybe 3-9. I don't think FIU's a gimme. Why have they not fired him? I'll tell you what I've heard.
Okay.
Heard this today. Don't know it to be true. I'm going to stress this as rumor, but I've heard it to be true. That Arkansas, I can't say this. Arkansas has an NIL problem with football. Not with basketball. Musselman's got a really good basketball thing going. Not with baseball. What's the guy's name? Van Horn?
Mm-hmm.
He's got a real good thing going in baseball. They're winning in a lot of sports. They're winning in track. They're winning in soccer. All sorts of stuff. This was a conversation. I've had a couple of Arkansas conversations in the last 12 hours. They know they got to do something in football. They got to generate money. Got to generate excitement. Got to generate money. The guy that some of the money people want, this is important, money people. You can relate to this because it affected your career. When money people talk, that changes the game.
I've heard.
John Bob on the message board, you don't change much. No offense. I'm sure you're great. You don't change much. Money people change things. I've heard that there are some money people up there that have pledged to really get involved financially if they could hire their guy.
There's only one guy to hire.
And I'm told their guy has said no. And look, there would be plausible deniability out the wazoo on this because it's not as simple as, hey, Gus, you want the job? It doesn't work like that. But I think through back channels, he's essentially said he's not interested, Gus Malzahn. And if that's the case, they've got a really hard decision to make now because they have a tough decision that's going to be made tougher on Saturday night. Because when you play a game, and they had 72,000 for Auburn, they'll have a lot less than that for FIU. And you can either lie to yourself and go, well, it's a non-conference game and it's cold and people are getting ready for the holidays and some of the students have already left, blah, 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 blah. Or you can go, this isn't going to work. We're going to have a hard time selling tickets next year.
Yeah. Look, Gus has got crazy. I saw what he did at Arkansas State after we left.
And no, Hayden, Oregon would not call Deion.
Nobody's calling Deion.
No one's calling Deion.
Nobody's calling Deion.
Deion's been
exposed.
It's been exposed. No one wants that.
All right. But don't say that in public because people
that makes
call
you a bad person.
I'm a bad person because I told the truth.
Deion's going to have to win at Colorado a little bit to get a big job.
May have a chance to win this weekend though.
He may. Anyway, let's stay on the pace.
Look, Gus, I saw what he did at Arkansas State when we left. Gus is beloved, and he loves Northwest Arkansas.
Yeah.
That's home.
Yeah, sure.
If you told me Gus Malzahn leaves for any job on the planet, it's Arkansas. All right. If Pittman stays, that's very simple. But I guarantee. I mean, I know how this business works.
Yeah.
The back channels and all that stuff been open for a long time. If there's no decision, if it's quiet out of Arkansas, it's because he said no. And he is the one that has the real chance to get NIL there. And that's what you need. We keep talking about coaches and this guy can't coach. No,
and it's
about NIL,
it's
guys.
A necessity.
You can't look. You can't. And
you got to have it.
I do this for a living. Okay, I talk to people every day that get so frustrated because this kid wants to come here. All right, we can't take this kid. He's not coming here because we can't give him $50,000, and they did.
Yeah.
And he's going to go there and sit the bench and collect his $50,000. I do this every day of my life.
I know.
And it's really a big deal. And so that's why it's very important. And you can be the greatest coach in America, but if you don't have players, it does not matter. Okay?
100%.
All right? We'll talk about the game in a minute if we even have time to get to it today. But Ole Miss played Georgia on Saturday.
Yes.
Okay. Was that a schematic problem or was that a player problem?
Players, baby.
Okay. So what are we talking about?
I mean, because look, here's the thing. People can do they didn't have them prepared. The scheme was bad. Okay, so the scheme was bad, and they're 5-2 in the league. Your scheme's bad, and you're 5-2 in the league. Bad. Your scheme's not bad.
Scheme's not bad. I've never watched. And I don't like Lane. I don't like Lane. Lane doesn't like me. But let me tell you what he can do. He can coach the shit out of offensive football.
Yeah.
I have never seen a human being go to a game and him be out schemed. Never happened.
Mm-mm.
This never happened.
And Pete Golding's a very bright defensive mind.
No, same thing.
Pete's
players.
Pete went into a fight handcuffed.
He went into a freaking.
I mean, that's just hard.
He went into a goddamn gunfight with a spoon.
That's the point. I mean, and look, I give Lane an absolute ton of credit for his post game and what he said on Sunday and the little bit that he got asked about it again today. It's players.
Period.
You have to have them. I'll give Kirby credit for this. You don't hear Kirby going, boy, I tell you what, schemed him up.
No.
Nope. Kirby had elite players on the offensive and defensive lines. He's got an NFL tight end. He's got, I think, an NFL quarterback. He's got receivers that are impact players. Defensively, they just have players everywhere. They have players everywhere, and they have depth. They can lose a guy goes down, they just replace him. Ole Miss loses an offensive lineman, and it's kind of chaotic. And then they lose a second offensive lineman, and it's bad. And that's why they couldn't score anymore. They scored on the first two of their first three possessions. But once their line got banged up, and Georgia had a chance to make an adjustment, night, ball game, athletes. Lane didn't suddenly go, I forgot how to do this.
Hey, what was that play we ran at 7-on-7 this week at work?
Yeah, come on.
I forgot.
It's players. It's all about players. And so at any of these places, this is question number one. When Mississippi State picks up the phone and calls fill in the blank, he's going to say, tell me about your NIL. If Arkansas decides to move on from Sam Pittman, whether it's Gus Malzahn or anyone else, tell me about your NIL. How can we fix it? It's the reason I think Arkansas is a better job than State. It's not because right today, I think Arkansas has a better way of answering how do we make it bigger?
Yeah.
How do we do it? I don't know that State has that. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I don't care. Whatever.
If you give me $8.5 million that I can go give every scholarship kid $100,000, we'll go win a championship. It's not that hard. If I go offer, hey, I'll give you a 5-year, $500,000 deal to a high school kid, you're getting them. Give a little extra money to the quarterbacks. Call it a day. Call it a day. But when you can't afford to give your kids $50,000,
yeah,
what do we? And it's what you're competing against.
Then you're not going to win championships. Now, that's when you have to decide, are we going to be a development program that's happy winning 8 and on occasion knowing, hey, that means on occasion we're only going to win 6. But on occasion, maybe this once in a blue moon, we catch lightning in a bottle, injury luck works out, and we sneak into the playoff, and we have this magical day at blank State.
Yeah.
And hey, you have to decide, are you cool with that? Because the answer is, if you're not cool with that, then don't put it into football and decide there's another sport that you want to dominate.
I've said that for years.
Dominate something else.
If you are the, like, serious, all kidding aside, okay, let's say I'm at Mississippi State and I got $3.5 million for NIL. That's what we got.
Yeah.
If you just said screw football, you may go win a basketball and a baseball national championship every year.
Well, you can go be a powered one of them.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, sure.
I mean, if you got you got 12 basketball players. I mean,
yeah,
$2 million goes a long way in basketball.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, 12 players.
Well, again, look at some of the programs we're talking about.
Yeah.
Look at Arkansas. They can't scratch in football. Look at them in basketball. 2 Elite Eights and a Sweet 16 in the last 3 years.
Yeah. I mean, it's valid, very valid point. All right, real quickly, and then we'll have to go fast. We'll probably have to skip some of it today at the end. We'll run out of time, but we talked about
we're not getting everything.
Yeah. Boise also made a change, just like them. They should run it back with Harsin. He's already living there. What are we waiting on?
It's probably what they're doing.
Run it back.
Probably what they're
run
doing.
it back.
Yeah,
run it back. All right, Neal.
Is it okay if I cheer for the Boise Auburn bowl game at that point? Sign me up somehow, please. Anyway,
that would
just
be good,
somehow,
right?
Please.
That would. Auburn's bowl eligible.
Yeah.
How about that shit?
That's because Hugh's calling the plays now.
Do you know what? All kidding aside, I've seen all the jokes, heard all the jokes. When you watch them play, he's not calling all of them, but as somebody that's been in an offense, I can mark. Yep. Like, it's 2 different offenses.
Yeah.
It really is. All right, Neal, it's time for abbreviated version, because we're not going to get to all of them, so y'all forgive us. We probably will try to forget this week, so that's why we're going to do it quickly.
I will tell you this before you do it.
Yep.
With HelloFresh, you get farm fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. Skip trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. That's why it's America's #1 meal kit. The holidays right around the corner. HelloFresh can help take the stress out of dinner by delivering everything you need to cook up tasty meals right to your door, saving you tons of time. The holiday season can be hectic, and that's where HelloFresh's 15-minute meals come in. These quick fixes help you get a wholesome meal on the table in less time than it takes to get delivery. Everyone wants to cut back on errands and spending time in checkout lines this time of year, so skip that extra grocery store trip and instead get fresh ingredients and delicious recipes delivered with HelloFresh. Just pick your meals, decide on a delivery date, and sit back. The most wonderful time of the year is also the most delicious. Enjoy every bite of the holiday season with HelloFresh. Choose from more than 45 weekly recipes, more than 100 curated picks from HelloFresh Market. Just like always, HelloFresh's ingredients travel from the farm to your door, so you know they're fresh and everything arrives pre-portioned, so you get right to cooking quick. Go to HelloFresh.com/MPWFree and use code MPWFree for free breakfast for life, 1 breakfast item per box while subscription is active. That's free breakfast for life at HelloFresh.com/MPWFree with code MPWFree.
All right, Neal, we're going to make this quick. Can you flash up that betonline.ag link for me while I'm talking?
Yep.
Remind everybody, betonline.ag brings you the McCready and Siskey picks of the week. Neal will throw the link in the chat. Please feel free to hit that link if you want to bet with us or against us, as I would recommend after this past week. Going towards our picks we do every Thursday. That will give you a 50%. That's 50% sign-on bonus there with betonline.ag. It's the site that we use here. All right, Neal. You had a banner week. You went 4-6-1.
There you go, baby.
You lost 2 units, but I even had a better week.
Oh, good for you.
I went 3-8. So not only did I go 3-8, that was maximizing my potential. I told you before the show in college I went 1-5. Okay. And the one win that I got in college is the one I pivoted because you picked the one I really wanted that lost. So if it wasn't for the pivot, I would have gone 0-6 in college this week. And of the 12 games I had in my betting pool for college this week, I went 2-10. All right. So I was terrible. I wish I would have faded myself. I'd be real rich right now. All right, so Neal, the first game you had Kansas, and I agreed with it. Was my favorite pick of the week.
They lost their quarterback.
We got some shit on the board about it.
They lost their quarterback.
Kansas was favored by 3.5 at home. They lose their quarterback, I want to say in the second or third drive of the game, and they started to figure out at the end of the game. It was too late. They lose 16-13 at home versus Texas Tech. Second game, and we'll talk about all the Michigan stuff. Somebody asked me 14 times. We're going to talk about Michigan. We'll punt that till tomorrow. Got some thoughts on the Michigan stuff. But Michigan goes to Penn State. Do not throw a pass in the second half.
There's no reason to.
And they beat Penn State 24-15 with John Harbaugh in the hotel watching on TV.
Mm-hmm.
They were favored by 4. That was a dub for you. Another easy dub that I actually liked.
Roll Tide.
It was on my picks. I just was too stubborn because
Roll Tide. Roll.
Alabama favored by 11. Win 49-21. It could have been worse.
If he doesn't fumble the punt, it's like 60-0.
Yeah, it was 21-0 at the time.
Kool-Aid fumbled.
Yeah, it was a 14-point swing. Could have been 28-0. Do you know the words?
Hey, Alabama, Crimson Tide.
No.
I don't know all the words. I used to. My parents were big Alabama fans when I was a kid.
I know the beginning and I know the end. I don't know the middle.
Did you know that?
The Rose Bowl will win then? Hey.
My dad's got a doctorate from Alabama. My mom's got a master's from Alabama. I was born in Alabama.
Yet you're an Arkansas fan.
First 3 years. Now I'm Woo Pig all the time. The first 3 years of my life, I lived in and around Tuscaloosa. Cheered for the Tide my whole life.
Yep.
Thought I would go to college there, and then didn't.
Here's the thing to note about Alabama. Milrose played. They've cut him loose last 2 weeks.
Yeah,
and they look different on offense.
They look good.
He is like one read, take off, and he is running. He is like he's watched Forrest Gump. He is running. I mean, he is rolling. Different offense. All right, in the ass kicking that we both took, and it was a rat line. We knew it was a rat line. And people say, "Oh, I knew it was a rat line." Well, the shit works half the time, so don't tell me that. I get it looks
Ben
bad.
Mintz told me this was the lock of the week.
Ben Mintz's pick. I love Ben. I love Ben.
But he had some bad picks.
He picks bad too.
He does too.
All right. Oklahoma State was favored
if
by.
If he picked better, it'd be called Las Mincy, not Las Vegas.
That's correct. Oklahoma State was favored by 2.5 on Saturday. They lost a tough one, 45-3 to Central Florida. Favored by 2.5 and lose 45-3.
If you're gonna lose big.
That was a good one. Then you had the under in a game that we thought was going to rain that I didn't see, but like 5 drops dropped the whole game. I know it sprinkled a little bit.
It rained at the end.
It rained at the end when it was already out. You had the under in Georgia Ole Miss at 58.5. It goes over. Georgia wins 52-17.
Yeah, 69 points.
69 points.
That's nice.
It's good. It's fitting.
It's nice, is what it is.
It's nice. That was just we've talked about it. There's not a whole lot to say. Players. Your money line had me worried because if you'd hit the money line, I was done.
I thought we had a shot.
Thought you had a shot.
You
had Miami plus 480. Florida State holds on, wins 27-20. Kind of opened up at the end, 14-point lead. It kind of
came back.
You did come back.
I had the ball.
But that was good. I went 1-5. My one dub, I had Iowa -1. They win 22-0. Dominant performance. It still went under. They can't get to some bitch low enough. And a game I felt like you. I felt like the Oklahoma State. I had a couple of these that were just not even close. Like I wasn't even close to covering. That's what pisses me off. I had Houston -2.5. They lose 24-14 against Cincinnati at home, and it wasn't even close. It was 24-7 for a long time. They scored with like 2 minutes to go to cut it to 10. Not anywhere close. Another game, Tennessee. I had 2 of these on my card. Tennessee -2. I took them -2 at Missouri. They get beat 36-7.
See, this is where I should have trusted my gut. Everybody was going Tennessee, and I'm like, have you guys watched Missouri? Missouri's good.
All right, so I got two.
That was an ass kicking.
I got two things that are funny here. I thought it was hilarious. I don't know if Heupel and Eli got this love hate. I don't know if they got a
They
thing.
don't like each other.
Okay, I did not know that.
Yeah.
The fact that he ran out the kickoff team and then down all those points, and then Eli froze the kicker. At the end of the game, he froze the kicker, and that's great.
Yeah,
that was funny. But here's the deal: is I want to say something because I like to people give me shit, but I will tell you when I'm wrong on things. Dead ass wrong on Missouri. Even when I watched it at the beginning. Dead ass wrong in Missouri.
They're the deal now.
They are playing. I mean, you can't argue.
They're gonna whip Florida's ass Saturday,
dude.
Then they're gonna whip Arkansas's ass in 2 weeks.
I can't argue with you. They're playing well.
They're going to an Access Bowl.
Can't argue with you. They're playing well, man. I was wrong on so many fronts on Missouri.
There's a chance Ole Miss and Missouri go to Access Bowls.
It's gonna be hard though, right?
It'll be hard, but it could
because you're gonna have an SEC champion loser is gonna be 1-2.
Yeah. Unless
they're both in the playoff.
Unless it's 12-1 Alabama and 12-1 Georgia.
Both in the playoff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's going to be hard to put 4 in a 6 bowl series, I think. We'll see. There's too much parity. All right. The Joker's retired today. The Joker took an L. Arizona beats Colorado 34-31.
Yeah.
They had 87. I watched the game. They had 87 chances to cover the score, and they just kept playing with their food.
Arizona played tired. They've had a bunch of big games.
They did just enough.
Yeah, they were a little tired.
There's so much.
Another big one this week.
They do. And then one I took on the chin, man. I thought I was going to start the day off right. I had Indiana money line at plus 210. They had a 14-point lead in the second half. Go to overtime. And losing overtime, 48-45. Tom needed that one, but Tom's got 2 games he can win to finish it. They got
hell of a game.
They got Michigan State and Purdue.
It was a hell of a fun game to watch.
They're playing better.
Yeah, they should win their last 2.
They're playing better.
If I were them, based on what I saw Saturday, I would not fire Tom Allen.
It's just not for $20 million.
I wouldn't.
It's not $20 million bad.
I would not fire Tom Allen. Now I wouldn't go give him a raise or any of that stuff, but I'd hang on.
It's not $20 million.
I'd give him another year.
They
played hard for him.
Yeah. All right, NFL, Neal. Aren't you proud how fast I'm going through these?
Yeah.
All right, NFL. Me and you both had this game. I had the Texans plus 7. You had the Bengals minus 7. First of all, you went 2-2-1 in the NFL. I went 2-3.
I'm ordering a jersey.
All right.
I'm in love.
Write this down.
I've got a man crush.
Write this down. I'm going to do it twice in the same show. I'll tell you when I'm wrong. I did not think C.J. Stroud was going to be very good in the NFL. C.J. Stroud
he's not very good.
He is playing his balls off.
He's not very good. That dude's elite.
Yeah, I was wrong on that one. I'll tell you when I'm wrong.
C.J. Stroud, man, he does stuff that rookie quarterbacks, Tyler, they just don't do.
You keep waiting for him to screw it up, and he doesn't.
Look at his eyes.
He's playing with a lot of confidence right now. So I'm that was a fun game.
I read a big long story about him over the weekend, and he's got a toughness to him that you know, some guys are so tough that they're too tough and they can't. He's got a toughness to him that has a softness attached to it. He's very smart. He can think. He's tough as nails, but he can think. He understands that.
What is the too tough? Who's an example of too
lots
tough?
of people. They're overly macho. The guy, I'm not wearing pink. If I wear pink, you know what it means. Okay, you're an idiot.
Brett Favre?
Okay.
Is Brett Favre too tough?
I don't know. I'm not a fan.
I'm just messing.
But you know what I mean.
I do. I'm just messing with you.
This kid's got it all. He's doing this. He's doing this at 20. What's he? 22. Hey, look out!
That's impressive.
Look out! I agree with Hayden. By the way, he's a long shot, but the way they're playing,
he will be though if he continues.
If you told me yes or no, does C.J. Stroud win an MVP award before his career is over? Right now, yes.
Yeah,
100%. Yes. Stud.
All right, Neal, you had the Browns plus 6.5. Did you watch this game? In this game,
I had Bengals and Browns.
Like I thought you had no chance of they came out of
count my Browns out.
They came out of the depths of darkness to not only cover but to win this game.
Thursday night's gonna be interesting. Bengals and Ravens kind of desperate.
Both need a win. Yeah. Big game Thursday night. But that was a good dub on your part. You pushed. You had the Lions minus 3. And they win 41-38 against the Chargers. Very high scoring game. Chargers kind of let that one slip away late. They kind of got the momentum, and dude, just Detroit just stayed steady.
Yep.
All right. In a game that you almost resurrected the outcome to, you had the under at 39 between the Steelers and the Packers.
I was so close.
And the first 4 possessions, I think, touchdowns were scored. I was like, oh, that's way over. And, dude, they just went – they couldn't score in the second half. They showed back up.
Had a real chance at a push for a long time.
Yep. And then they ended up hitting the field goal on you. Goes 23-19. You go over by the field goal at the end. And the one that was just the opposite had no chance. It was like a 3-0 game almost at the end of the second quarter. And then GJG's Atlanta Falcons and the Arizona Cardinals, 25-23. You hit the over on that.
Yeah.
All right. Talked about the Texans game. I lost. I had the Patriots +2. One of the most disappointing losses in betting I've ever had in my life. I've never seen a team run the football that effectively in the National Football League and lose. They were running at about 8.5 yards a clip. They would literally run the football down the entire length of the field, and then Mac Jones would throw a pick. He would do something stupid. Mac Jones is in major trouble in New England. Yep. I think this is it for him. I think they're going to move on from him at the end of the year. He gets benched on the 2-minute drive to end the game just for no reason. I think that's it for him. Had the Tennessee Titans +1.5 at Tampa. Never was in it. Terrible. Lost 20-6. A game that I felt really good about, and it actually did hit. I had the 49ers -3 against the Jags. They completely dominated. Chase Young put on that front with Nick Bosa. Dude, I don't know. I mean, like, they look back. They're healthy. They had a bye week. They look like the 49ers that you're like, okay, that's who the 49ers were. They dropped their skid. They stopped the winning streak with the Jags. And then I had the Saints -2.5 against the Vikings, and they lose to Josh Dobbs. Another magical performance by Josh Dobbs. All right, 2 things real quick before we move on to finish this bad boy out. Other games, college games we didn't talk about, we're not going to talk about, but just South Carolina beats Vandy, nothing to talk about there. Auburn beats Arkansas 48-10. A little surprising. I thought Arkansas would end up – I thought they were actually going to win this game. They never showed up. They got behind 14-0 early and just never recovered. Texas A&M in the Everybody Get Fired Bowl, Texas A&M wins 51-10. Mississippi State runs back the opening kickoff of the game, gets outscored 51-3 from that point on. Washington beats Utah in a very sloppy performance. All right, Washington is only favored by 1 point this weekend against Oregon State. That is a rat line that I don't be surprised if Oregon State gets involved and gets this thing creepy at the end of the year by beating Washington at home this weekend. All right, 2 things. I'm glad you come back. I got 2 things I want to talk about real quick. Oregon beats USC 36-27. And if it wasn't for all this crazy stuff that's happening this weekend, this needs to be discussed. At both the end of the Penn State-Michigan game and at the end of the USC-Oregon game, you got late scores by the team that was down 9 points, and it decided to go for 2 instead of kicking and making it 8. Don't tell me what a book says.
Stupid.
So show me. I'm serious. I want somebody to show me in a book. I've seen them too. Show me in a book where it says to go for 2 down 9. Show me. I want to know the advantages because that's bullshit.
I want to cut it to 8 where now I'm 1 score.
If you don't get it, you remove all hope from winning the game.
Yes.
You extend the game for as long as you can. That's how it's kind of like fouling in basketball. You extend the game as long as you can. Going for 2 down 9. And look, all these analytics, I've told people all the time, the analytics don't know shit when the ball's kicked off. Okay? Like, a great example for people. Lane's a big analytics guy, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, did the book know that his left tackle's going to go out in the 3rd play and his guard's going to get hurt and he's going to be down two offensive linemen in 4 plays into the game? I bet that changes whether you think you can get it on 4th and 2 or not.
Sure.
Like, things change. And these books, I mean, I don't need somebody to tell me to go for 2 or to go for it and punt, all that stuff. I think that's just bullshit. All right, last thing. LSU played Florida. Nobody's watching this game. And it's sad. It was sad. Nobody watched that game. because Jaden Daniels had the performance of the year in college football.
He did.
They should march to Baton Rouge and hand him the Heisman Trophy.
I said the other night that I think he earned my vote.
They should hand him. They should march to Baton Rouge. They don't even need to have the. They should. They don't waste their time with the trip. Hand him the trophy. Let me hit you with this. Nobody's watching because there's other games on, right?
Mm-hmm.
He throws for 372 yards. He rushes for 234 yards. Okay, by the old math, he accounted for 606 yards by himself in an SEC football game.
Yep. Yeah,
and 5 touchdowns. I mean, don't let me forget 5 touchdowns.
He's awesome. He's fantastic.
If that was a nationally televised game, he wins it going away.
He's definitely going to be on my ballot.
I mean, that was just, I had it on, I had 4 TVs, so I was able to watch it, but I was like, every time I looked up, the guy's just like, I was like, holy shit, man, this guy's, he was unconscious. All right, Neal, closing it up, last thing I got. I was really close last week on our Thursday night parlay. I was 11 yards short of cashing on the Thursday night parlay. So here's what I got for all you junkies tonight on the betonline.ag player prop parlay. Let me see what you think about this. All right, we got the Buffalo Bills hosting the Denver Broncos.
Yep.
All right?
Yep.
Russell Wilson has to rush for 12 yards.
Okay.
Like it?
I don't like him. So,
by the way, the sack numbers don't count against rushing yards.
He'll probably get 12.
Okay. Josh Allen to rush for 24 yards.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay. Stephon Diggs to have 6 catches. That would be a season low for him, by the way.
Yeah, likely.
Cortland Sutton to have 3 catches. That would be a season low for him.
Okay.
Jerry Jeudy to have 43 yards.
Likely.
And Stephon Diggs to have 77 yards.
Yeah, likely.
That is plus 373.
Oh, that's pretty good.
All of those would be, if they didn't hit, that would be season lows for all of them. So I'm going with, I actually did research and looked at it. That would all be season lows for them if they didn't hit it. Since we're in like week 10.
Well, I recommend that you put on a game changer patch.
Oh. And
just drink your way through it.
I might do that.
And then you'll be good. You'll be it's game changer patch. It's the only 2-patch system available in the market. Stop hangovers before they start. You got the warm-up patch that you use while you drink, before you drink. Overtime patch after you've been drinking to recover while you sleep. The all-natural ingredients will keep you in the game, ready for your next play. Go to GameChangerPatch.com. Promo code RebelGrove20 at checkout to get 20% off of your purchase. Hayden asked me if I listened to John Morosi talking about Shohei Ohtani today. I have not. I don't know that I want to do that. I'm going to give myself some life advice. Life advice presented by State Farm agent Cole Waters. Cole is licensed in auto, home, life, health, business, and pet insurance for the whole state of Georgia. Contact Cole at 706-525-7850. You can also find him at ColeWaltersInsurance.com. Here's my life advice.
Okay.
In things that you have no control over, such as where Shohei Ohtani decides to play baseball, decide whether you would rather be thrilled or heavily disappointed. Which would be worse? Which extreme is worse? For me, if I tell myself he ain't going to Chicago, he's going to the Dodgers, Giants,
Braves,
Rangers, Braves. As long as I tell myself, as long
Cardinals,
as it's not the Cardinals, I give up the sport. As long as he's not going to St. Louis, Milwaukee.
Have you thought about where your head would be at if he's wearing a Cardinals uniform?
No, see, because I don't like doing that to myself.
Would that really upset you?
I'd have to call my friends at BetterHelp. Yeah, that would upset me. I don't want to get my hopes up. So I'm better off just going, okay, expect nothing. And then if it happens, well, I'm gleeful. I said that the West Coast Morosi said West Coast bias might not be as big of a factor as people think. Look, there's stuff out there. I've heard it. I'm choosing not to put stock into it.
Yeah. But you did give some good life advice there. And I don't think people, I mean, all kidding aside, control what you can control.
Yes. Put your energy into things that you can control.
Yeah.
Because when you put your energy into things that you can't control, you're giving other people, whether they're even trying to have it or not, control over your happiness. That's silly.
It is. And you don't realize it. You know, I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't really, early in my career, I probably didn't really think about it. Going to Alabama, that's that's one of the biggest top things that Coach Saban preaches, right? And I didn't really, I hear him say 1,000 times, be where your feet are. You'll hear that 1,000 times. But when you start really understanding what it means, you can't be motivated by external factors. You got to be motivated internally. And you can't control what you can't control. Like there's no reason to be upset or about things that you have nothing to do with.
Well, it's like when you get super excited about a weekend off.
Yep.
Right. And so these 2 weeks, you're like, I'm going to grind for that weekend off. And you do. And you grind and you grind and you grind. And you're exhausted when you get to the weekend off. And then you get to the weekend off and you're so tired
that you just want to sleep.
That you really don't even enjoy it.
Yeah.
And then you immediately start shifting your brain to, okay, what's next? That's completely not living in the moment, which is the disaster of it.
Be where your feet are.
You didn't enjoy the work. And now you give the weekend off. You don't even enjoy it. And now you start dreading the next set of work.
Yep.
And so you go into it with, and believe me, I'm preaching to the choir here because I do this a lot, but I catch myself now and go, wait, what are you doing? Chill.
You see it in coaching a lot with a lot of young coaches. They're always worried about what the next job is. And I always say, you know, that's where be where your feet are coming from. Don't worry about what's next. If you do a really good job where you're at, next will take care of itself.
Oh, good news for you. Ohtani is reportedly, quote, intrigued by the possibility of playing for the Braves. Makes a lot of sense. I mean, look, the Braves make a lot of sense. The Braves issue is this. Because I've heard Atlanta connected to Aaron Nola.
They have to get a pitcher.
And Ohtani can't pitch next season.
Pitch. They got to get a pitcher. But I would sacrifice a pitcher to get Ohtani. One of them young bucks will figure it out. We'll wait till he gets his UCL gets repaired. Has he already had surgery?
Supposedly he has had the surgery.
Gotcha. So that's a year minimum, right?
Yeah, he will not pitch in 2024.
Yeah.
But he anticipates being back ready to go in 2025.
All right, speaking of life advice, Neal, we need to make sure that anybody that has any life advice or questions can send a direct message. All the DMs are open on all the social media platforms, whether it's Instagram, Twitter /X, or TikTok. You can click the little envelope button, or you can message myself or Neal directly and send us your life advice questions. We'll get them read and keep everything anonymous at the end of the shows moving forward. So don't forget, we will do another show tomorrow. Jeff Collins will be with us tomorrow.
Yep.
We had a bunch to cover today, so he's going Mayhem Tuesday, I guess. Taco Mayhem Tuesday tomorrow. And we'll hit some of the Michigan stuff tomorrow as well that I didn't have time to get to today.
All of that will be brought to you by Reign Total Body Fuel, 300 milligrams of natural caffeine, BCAAs, electrolytes, zero sugar. It's got what you need to push the limits and achieve your goals. Check them out on Instagram at Reign Body Fuel to learn more.
And just because this was the first Black Monday, we'll have many. It's Black Friday every day in November at Cooper Chevrolet in Anniston. Cooper's just received a huge truckload of brand new Chevy Tahoes and Silverado pickups in every single trim. With over 200 new Chevys, Buicks, and quality pre-owned, many extended warranty backed by Car Bravo. Cooper is sure to have the right vehicle at the right price. Check out East Alabama's best selection today at cooperchevrolet.com.
Talk to you guys tomorrow. Until then, take care.